Hello guys, and welcome to episode 27 of Minecraft. Just get right into it here. So in the last episode we were cutting down trees. I was trying to get this place torched up a little bit. Trying to remember exactly what the circumstances of us leaving last episode. So this time I'll probably do some more tree cutting. This episode I have some stuff to talk about, which is good because I think we can't stand more of this what are we going to talk about? What are we going to talk about? What are we going to talk about? Thing. So this time we definitely have ammo. My volume on my computer's just a tad loud. Shouldn't be loud to you guys, but in my ears it's a little bit on the louder side. So let's go ahead and take care of that. But anyway, yeah. So we got material to talk about. Let's get right into it. So between the last time. Last episode, it's been the Super Bowl. As I said last time, it was before, so I really couldn't talk about anything, because, when you do this, it's like, when you record, and again, I like to record, again, since I'm in college and everything, I have to record them. Like, during the summer, I'll probably try to do more recording, and have them more, I don't know, even then, I still like to have them out, like, have them scheduled that way I can take days, I don't have to worry about it, but anyway, you really can't talk about things that haven't happened yet, because it's like, how are you supposed to do like a analysis on the Super Bowl? It's like, you really can't talk about pregame stuff because everybody else has already happened, and it's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, to prove that you said that good stuff about it, like the keys to the game or whatever, and then that comes into question, because it's like, did you really record it? Sorry, I haven't looked at this. Day 28. Yes, this is episode 27, that's probably just about... I wonder how long that'll last for. How long it'll stay close. Probably when we do if we do any longer of an episode than just 20 minutes, which I forgot to start the timer. So this will be a little longer than 20 minutes, but that's okay. Yeah. So the Super Bowl was last night, and everybody loved it. As long as you didn't live in the land. Or pig hatred of the pig. Now, I don't think you could say like this. I think that was a huge win for the Patriots. Not only because it makes Brady get a fifth ring, which breaks the tie with most all time. But at the same point, it's also or does he? I think Bradshaw has 4, doesn't he? Anyway, I know Chuck Noll does. I don't know. Bradshaw may not. But anyway, I don't know. I should know this, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, yeah. Where was I? Oh yeah. Anyway, so we were talking about that. Basically, I think it was an important one for him because he's finally done it, and there's no allegations of anything, or maybe I'll come out later. But right now, there's no allegations of anything of them doing any wrongdoing. That's real. There's fake stuff that says I saw a fake article on. I forget what it was. It said they were flying. There was a drone mysteriously flying in the Falcons practice, but I'm gonna say that even if that somehow would be true, which it isn't, it's just a joke. Obviously, I don't think they game planned well against them because I think in the first half they came out and just laid an egg. I mean, I don't know. I was at work, so I really didn't get to see the whole game. I'm making my little synopsis here, what happened in the game. I'm making it based off the highlights and stuff I've seen, and what I've read. But I think it's one of those things that I think, well, basically from what I understand, here's what happened is that in the second half the pressure stopped. Brady was like, I watched some of the first, I saw some of the plays in the first half, and it just seemed like he was getting pressured every single time he dropped back, and that did not bode well for him because, as we all know, when Brady gets the pressure in a Super Bowl like that, it doesn't. I mean, that's the success to beating the Patriots is a good constant blitz. I mean, if you don't believe me, then look at who's beaten them in the important playoff games in the last few years. Every time it's either the Broncos, which have a great defense. Even back when Manning was first starting out there, they had a hard-hitting defense. They didn't have the best fundamental defense, but they at least had one that hit hard, and that was kind of hurt Brady a lot. And then also, but I mean, last year, obviously, that was the case, and then, the previous, when the Falcons beat them, that was the same thing. Ravens, sorry, when they beat them, that was the same formula they used. It was tough defense, and it was like Ray Lewis and those guys, and Louis Nata, and those guys getting in the backfield causing havoc. Well, Ray Lewis really didn't, but that defense got into the backfield and caused Brady to get pressured, and that's what you have to do to beat the Patriots. And I feel as if the Falcons did that very well in the first half. The second half, though, was just a whole different story. They just couldn't really do anything against him, and that's that was kind of the turning point. And then plus, obviously, the Patriots made a few insane plays, which, funny enough, usually those plays go against the Patriots. Like, I mean, if you think about it, every time they go to the times they've lost the Super Bowl, even like the game against the Seahawks, it's been like insane plays have like been there. It's like, I remember a Doug Baldwin catch, or the Tyree catch, or the Victor Cruz catch, or yeah, that was Victor Cruz, right? It was not many. Yeah, I think it was Victor Cruz down the sideline in the 2012 one. 2000, whatever, that was 2011. Technically, it was 2012 when it happened because. Anyway, yeah, that's was the thing, is that it really took like one of those plays to beat them, and they got one of them themselves. And I think the Falcons are a really good team, and I think they're just a team on the rise. I don't see them going anywhere anytime soon. I mean, they could just be like the Panthers and just completely fall apart, which happens. But at the same point, I think the Panthers are more of an outlier than the norm in the way their season went. Usually a team like that's that young makes it to the Super Bowl. They'll find their way back eventually, and I think the Panthers will eventually. But I think you're looking at a very strong NFC South, because you're looking at a good Saints team. But if they had a defense, they would be, one of the best teams in the league. If you're dealing with a Panthers team that if it can get its act together, it's already proven to be one of the best teams. All those teams are proven, and then you have the Falcons, who, obviously are a young team as well that could, do some damage. And then you have the Buccaneers, another. It's like a full teams with talent that just are on the verge of doing something. Like all four of those teams, I would not. Again, you look at it and you say, well, the Falcons got to the Super Bowl, but at the same point, I could see any of the four of those teams getting to the playoffs and winning the division next year, and you wouldn't call me crazy because of you think about it. The Buccaneers are a team that's gotten better over the last few years. The Saints are the Saints. If they'd get their defensive act together, they would be they'd be a playoff team every year. Because when they kind of lost that great defense that they started, having issues. They kind of lost like Jonathan Vilma, and that's when they've started, now having issues where they can't win more than like 8 or 9 games this season. It's because they've lost their defense, which is what made them so good. It's what was the thing that got them over. Every team has a thing about them. It's like they have one good thing about them. They're in the NFL. I mean, even the Browns have some bright spots. The bright spots is just how you play with the others. I mean, and that's honestly the case. I mean, you look at it. Let's take a team like like the Colts have Andrew Luck. Even like they're an 8-8 team, or what were they this year? 8-8, or they're 7. I think they were 8-8. But I mean, they were a team that you feared a little bit. I mean, like you wouldn't want to play them necessarily all the time because of Andrew Luck. But at the same point, their defense was terrible, and I mean, you can't have special teams, that's for sure. Then they had McAfee, and then obviously Vinatieri, who's arguably one of the best kickers in NFL history. Well, I'd say the best. I'm not a little biased. Even though I'd say some of the best kicks he's ever made were in a Patriots uniform, so I don't know if that makes me biased or that just kind of evens it out. I thought that was, back in the day, I thought that was the thing that was like, okay, now we got to, when they got first signed Vinatieri, I'm like, okay, now we have a kicker that can actually kick in pressure. But Viner Jack was a pretty good kicker. I don't know if, again, when he played, the Colts were pretty, that was during the early 2000s, up until I think 2005 was Vander Jack's last season. It was the year before they won the Super Bowl, because I remember Manning was just so mad at him because he missed that game winner or game tire against the Steelers in 2005. Imagine that for a minute if he makes that. The Colts win that game. How much? I don't know. That's a question for what's his name? Demashek. The NFL. I think that'd be a good one. What happens if? Better yet, what happens if Ben never makes that tackle and Harper walks into the end zone and the Colts win that game? It's like, could you have seen a dynasty in Indy, or I don't know. I always like to think about those kind of things a little bit more than probably I should, but it's interesting to think about because it's an alternate reality. It truly is. I mean, a lot of things would have changed. Maybe Ben never gets in that motorcycle accident, or he never. Also, you could look at it this way. I was reading the Sports Illustrated article. I am behind at Sports Illustrated a little bit. I've been trying to catch back up, but one of the articles about how all the stuff all the allegations and all the stuff he's done off the field, and how he's changed himself nowadays to be kind of distance himself from that stuff. And I was just thinking to myself, would the Steelers public actually have been so forgiving of him? I don't know if it says that in the article. I think I remember something like that, but I was thinking to myself before I even read that, like, would they be so forgiving if he wouldn't have made that tackle? And the Steelers would have never won the Super Bowl that year? Just a little food for thought. Would they have been so forgiving had he not have 2 rings on his fingers? It's a good question to think about. I mean, obviously they have a zero tolerance policy on him now, but I mean, it's like back then, what would have happened? It's always a good thing. It's always an interesting question to think about, because really, he wouldn't have had the stranglehold he did. Because honestly, I think the Steelers wanted to get rid of him, but they're like, well, he's won 2 Super Bowls. I mean, and that really shouldn't get in the way. It really shouldn't, but it does, and we all know it. I mean, like it shouldn't matter how much success you've had. You still shouldn't get away with the stuff that you should. You should have equal. If one guy does one thing and the other guy does the same thing, it should be kind of the same, unless it's something minor. I get it, but that I feel as if was, and he did serve a suspension. It's not like he got away with it completely. But I mean, it's still like, okay, uh-oh, you have a friend. This guy's being a friend to the end. Because that's what friends do. Alright, stupid SpongeBob song. I need to go unload some of this wood out of the chest. Or a building. So yeah. I really haven't mentioned the Super Bowl. I've been talking about other things. But anyway, back to the Super Bowl. Well, we might get to that next episode. Who knows? Because, I might get on a tangent. I could easily do it, let's be honest. There's so much storyline in that game. Like, I mean, how many players... How many times I heard the words, oh, they got him from the Browns. I'm like, of course they did. It's like, oh, the Browns drafted him. He didn't pan out, so they got rid of him, and then now he's a good player. I'm like, that's funny. Saying one guy that they'll never want to mess with is, I don't know. Manziel, I think that's a very interesting case, in my opinion, is if he actually is doing the steps he's taking to reform himself and to make himself a better player, he does kind of deserve another chance. There's been worse players to have played in the NFL. I mean, morally, who have not tried to change themselves. If he's actually trying to, at least fix himself up a little bit, which again, I don't know how that's going to work. I think Johnny will always be Johnny, and he'll always have that little partying mentality. But at the same point, if he's truly trying to reform himself and completely, then he should get another chance somewhere. But at the same point, if he's, lying just to get a job, that, I think that'll become apparent anyway. I think he needs to realize, and he said it in a quote the other day, is that partying will be around forever, even after he's done with the NFL. And believe me, some people say this. Ooh, half a heart is left. Done. But I think that if he would get his act together, and again, there's been far worse to have played in the NFL than Johnny Manziel. I mean, yeah, he's done a lot of partying and stuff, but at the same point, he's still. I think he was one of those kids that probably would have benefited from more structured environment, because the Browns obviously are a joke when it comes to that. That kind of thing. If you want to disagree with me, let's look at the young talent they've. Joe Thomas is probably the only young talent they've gotten in the last decade that's actually panned out for him. So I mean, that's enough said right there. So I think they just don't do well with young talent, and I think he needs to go somewhere where he can get help. And he is, he's held to a higher expectation, and it's not because he's, it's That's not to say, if he messes up, he should be cut automatically. If he does something stupid, warn the kid. Because really, he would have benefited from a more structured environment in college where he really could just, not have to, not be the face of a football team. Like if he was at Alabama or something, I think things would have gone a lot differently for him. Because he wouldn't have been. Because Alabama, the quarterback whoever plays at Alabama has to be good, but they're usually overshadowed by somebody. And Manziel was one of those guys that it doesn't really hurt him to be like that. Like I feel as if the more he's the center of attention, the more antics he gets into, because he starts, thinking about too much into that, and that's. He's just young. I think that's what it comes down to. He's only what? Came out of college his 3 years after high school. He's probably only like 24, 25 years old. He's only a young kid. He's got definitely lessons to learn. We need to learn not to get hit by a zombie and almost die. There's food in us. We got wave number 2. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, if he would just... I think if he can truly reform himself and be... And the other thing he needs to do again is be ready to be not the guy. Because I think in Cleveland, he's just... I think that's what it honestly comes down to. Another thing is he's pressured to be the guy. Because think about it now. How many quarterbacks have they gone through in the last, whatever years? It's like and everyone is expected to be that guy that eventually breaks out and, does something. He needs to go to a place where he doesn't have to be the guy. He needs to go honestly, he would almost benefit in Denver. If he could learn not to make, not to, to be more, less passive, They don't mind it. For goodness sakes, they won a playoff game with Tim Tebow. That shows you that as long as you're a game manager and you do not make mistakes, you can win there. And I think if, Manziel went somewhere where he didn't have to be the guy, I think it would benefit him greatly. Because then he could relax and be him, make plays without, and at the same time know there's somebody to bail him out if he's having an off night. I think when he was with Cleveland, his game-wise, which wasn't terrible, but at the same point it wasn't what it should be. I thought of it was because he had to try to make the plays to be the guy. And that's just not something Johnny can do all the time. And I think he doesn't, again, don't get me wrong, he's a really good quarterback, but he isn't the guy. He's not like the guy that comes into the huddle and says, okay, man, we're going to do this, this, and this. He's more the guy that, wants to have, his I think his football IQ is higher than some give him credit for. But I think at the same point, he isn't that guy. And, he needs in a locker room where he isn't the guy, where he can, be, and I think he would be just fine not being the guy. Like, there's some people I'd worry about. Like, there's some players that's like, oh, no, they're not the guy anymore. I kind of feel, be more of a distraction than anything. I think he'd gladly at this point just take a role in the NFL. Maybe if you asked him like 2 years ago if he wanted to be the guy, he probably said, yeah, I want to be it, But at the same point, I think now think about it. He put up good numbers after he won the Heisman, but it wasn't nearly what he had done the year before. He had kind of struggled down the stretch, and it was because I think everybody, made him to be like the University of Texas A&M all by himself, and I think he just couldn't handle that. And really shouldn't have to. You should expect your, young guys to do stuff, but at the same point, redshirt sophomore trying to lead it, pretty much put a team on his back and say, okay, I'm the only thing talented, and he wasn't the only thing talented there, but you get what I mean. Like, he was the one that had to lead that team, and I think his first year he got help a lot from the seniors that were there, and then when I think when they graduated, the second year, they kind of just said, okay, you're the leader now, and you're like, really? I think that was one of the reasons that he decided. I think that was one of the reasons he got in a lot of trouble, because I think he just doesn't. Yeah, again, he doesn't do well when he has to be. And that's nothing against him. There's a lot of people like that play in the NFL. It's like they don't want to have to be the guy that It's not because they're scared to do it. It's just that's just not their personality. Johnny is just that thing. He's not necessarily the greatest. No, I get it. You need to have a good leader, quarterback. At the same time, he does not have to be the only thing on your team that you depend on day in and day out. And I think that's what the Browns wanted him to do, and I think that won't work. Now, again, I'm talking about a complete on-field thing here. I'm not talking about off the field. Because off the field, there is a lot of issues that he needs to get it into check. I mean, there's that domestic violence thing, allegation. There's, just his behavior in general. I mean, the guy won't stop partying, and he needs to get it under control. But I think again, some of that is to get away from the pressure of he would rather be the guy at a party who's having a lot of fun that you have, that you hang out with and stuff like that than the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, which. Given those two options, sometimes it's obvious why he sometimes says, not joking. But you guys get what I mean. I'm just saying, like, it's tough sometimes to be the only thing good on a team. And I think there's some players that can handle that. Like Kevin Love for the longest time was the only thing decent about the Cavs. Not the Cavs. Yeah, that's not the truth. The Timberwolves. With Rubio not being in the NBA yet, and everything. Love was about the only reason you'd watch him. And eventually he got tired of it. Then he went to Cleveland, which is what I meant to say in the first place. Not that he went to, why would he ever go to... Yeah, the day he's the only good player in the Cavs is very interesting. That's for sure. Well, I mean, Kyrie was in that role for a while. I think it helped him grow a lot. That's what I'm saying. If you can gradually get them in, because that's how Kyrie was. He was pretty much told, okay. And I think in the end, it was all just a ploy to get James to come back, because they knew that if they pulled the strings hard enough, he'd come back. And they said, okay, let's build a team. Let's get some good draft picks. Let's get some young guys together, and let's go out and get LeBron back. And they built a team that was basically needing him and another piece. And they said, okay. In the summer of 2015, I think it was, or something like that, they just said, okay, LeBron, we've put together a team now that can win. Take us the way, take us to there. And I think at first, it was obviously his first season back was tough, because he didn't have... going off. Stop. But, yeah, we'll talk about that in the next episode. I'll finish that up, then we'll maybe get to the Super Bowl again. I go on tangents, which is why I just pick a topic and then a recording session talk about it, because then I'll get completed with it at some point. Anyway, guys, it's been Minecraft episode 27, and we'll see you next one. Bye.